so dangerous for so many people. Well, Trevor Abrahams is the Managing Director for Working on Fire. He joins us now. Trevor, good afternoon to you. We often see fires in the Western Cape at this time of year. Not many of them are this big. Do we know at this point how this blaze was able to get, I suppose, out of control like this?
Good afternoon, Stephen. So, we are in the typical fire season for this part of our country, the summer fire season. So that's not unusual. And in some sense, the number of fires and even the area being burnt is not necessarily record-breaking. I think what we're seeing is the impact of climate change in that is becoming very intense and breaking out very suddenly. But more importantly, we're also having settlements that are being set up in areas closer to our wildland urban interface. So it's becoming much more risky, if you like, in terms of these fires. When they burn on the mountains, one can watch it. You can try and fight it from the air and from the ground, but it doesn't impact as dramatically as to what we're seeing happening right now.
So, this is, again, and we see the same with floods, actually. It's about where humans live, and we need to pay a lot of attention to that.
Yeah. So, ultimately, we are looking at a pattern of climate change. Right now, we're predicting serious floods in Limpopo and parts of Mpumalanga, even into KZN, I think, in a week's time. So these extreme weather events are of a magnitude that we don't commonly experience. So these fires, yes, it is the fire season, but there are some factors also. So, it's critically important that we do our preparedness in terms of doing fire breaks, doing block burns, reducing the fuel load. And one of the key areas that I think we've had a bit of a setback has been the eradication of alien in vegetation. And, there's been a dramatic fall off in terms of what we've done in the past. And this is starting to come home to us like chickens coming home to roost.
When we've got a fire like this, and it's this size, and there's sort of flames in lots of different places, what normally leads to a fire like this being extinguished? Do we wait for rain? Unlikely, I'm afraid, at this time of year and in a drought area. Do we wait for it to just reach the sea? Does the wind change, or are humans able to put it out?
So the key determinants in terms of the trajectory of a blaze like this is obviously the temperature, the winds, and the vegetation available. Now, we can't do much about the temperature because climate change is starting to rule the roost, if you like. Then similarly with the wind. So we have techniques and approaches to managing fire spreads, as happened in LA, where we do backburns to try and limit the spread. We use our aerial intervention. So we, as Working on Fire, have some 900 firefighters in the Western Cape and Sarabatment area. We've got 8 spotter aircraft, 11 helicopters, and 2 fire bombers. So those are the resources we're deploying. I would say, obviously, in an outbreak like this, we have more than 15 active fires in this region. We don't have enough. So budgetary allocations has to improve in terms of addressing these kind of outbreaks. And particularly where they're starting to impact on areas where we have human habitation, we have infrastructure, we have farms that are productive, that are being impacted by this type of fire. So it's starting to affect us economically. Obviously, we don't even address the issue of the smoke inhalation, and also the kind of fine particulates in terms of what the long-term health impact will have on communities that are exposed to it. So this is a serious risk and has been raised in the 2025 years at the G7 around the Kananaskis Fire Charter, at the G20 and at the COP30. So globally, there's awareness of this. It's happening not only in South Africa, it's happening all around the world, that these fires are becoming more intense, much more extensive, and burning for much longer.
It becomes more and more... I'm sorry to interrupt. It becomes more and more important, Trevor, obviously, to put these fires out quickly before they get out of control. Is it possible to improve our technology around noticing fires, around actually understanding that there is a fire and trying to get it out when it's relatively small? Humans have been fighting fires, for thousands of years. And I imagine it's actually quite difficult to know where a fire is, especially in an area like this.
Well, there is a need to invest more on the preventative side. And when I say preventative, I'm saying reduce your fuel load reduction during the winter months or the cooler months so that you don't have disaster fires breaking out. One of the basic rules in a fire season like this, absolutely no outside fires, no braais, and none of the kind of economic activities that might generate sparks. Yes, reporting small fires as soon as possible. But, one of the important resources, and the Western Cape has done it, where the provincial government has made provision for the first hour of aerial firefighting. They pay for it. You don't have to go to your calculator to work out what it's going to cost you. Call in the aerial support. So, there are measures that we're starting to put in place to try and contain what is a phenomenon that's happening across the world, much more intensive and much more extensive disaster fires. So there are measures in place, and I think we do need to do even more in terms of public awareness and education about steps people need to take around their homes, but to prevent the start of these fires. In South Africa, most of the fires still originate from human cause. There are lightning strikes that happen, but unfortunately, the reality for us is that the bulk of it is still human.
Trevor, thank you so much for that. I know it's a busy time for you. Really do appreciate it. Trevor Abrahams is the Managing Director for Working on Fire. More coverage, of course, of this incredible blaze in the Western Cape as we go through the afternoon together.